Good evening, everyone. Great to see all of you here on this chilly evening. And I would like to thank the organizers of Cause the Pause for inviting me here to speak this evening. I'd like to talk to you about some things that I've heard here tonight, and one of them is, I think it was Alana from the college chapter who mentioned it, and I'm going to talk about that shortly, but I'm the current branch president of the Monterey County NAACP. And so, thank you. When Alana mentioned that, look at me, I'm white, and yeah, well, let me just share with you a little bit about the history of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. The NAACP is a multicultural organization. In fact, it was founded by 5 whites, some of them Jews, and the others were African American. And the NAACP was founded in 1909 during a time when the strange fruit of black men in this country were being hung. We have a new strange fruit, and that is the killing of black and brown men and women by law enforcement. In fact, just last evening, a young teenager who was wielding a knife was shot and killed, shot 8 times by Salinas Police Department. Now, where is the outrage in that? And we're talking about a youth, and so I'm sure that the young person was probably experiencing some sort of mental health crises. And so I just don't understand for the life of me why they're taught to kill when they could throw like a net or something that could save and preserve the life. So the NAACP was founded again in 1909, but our Monterey County branch next month is turning 85 years old. We were founded in 1932. And so if you imagine in 1932 what was happening in Monterey County and all over the world at that time, and how brave those individuals must have been. So we have always had whites that have been our allies both in the NAACP and the civil rights and in the struggle in general. And so right here in Monterey County, we have historically aligned ourselves with those that want to see change. We're dealing with a world of white supremacy and ongoing black inferiority. And the difference is that whites have had privileges that African Americans and other people of color and women have not had. And so I'm here to make an appeal to you this evening. As the incoming president, I have noticed a whole host of injustices that are happening right here in Seaside, where people are consistently calling on the NAACP, which is made up of all volunteers. For 85 years, people have been volunteering to fight civil rights in Monterey County. And there are issues dealing with black people in an apartment complex here in Seaside that are being discriminated against, being threatened. These are single parents with children. So what we need is our white brothers and sisters that want to come on board and join us, that have the expertise to do legal research, help with helping people fill out claims, helping them understand what the provisions of some of the laws are, how to get help, because a lot of people right now don't know where to turn, and we're living in very uncertain times. The other thing that's happening is many of our children, I heard someone mention about the prison population. Well, I came from a field of child welfare. I worked in a field that oppressed poor black and brown people and even poor whites. So I saw these systems that are supposed to be designed to help in Monterey County destroy the lives of children and families. And many of the parents in Monterey County, not all, but many, have women head of the households and no father figure in the home. And so you wonder why there are all these issues happening and poverty continues to perpetuate itself. It is by design. Everything that is happening to us in terms of civil rights there is a big machine working at the top. They're the ruling class 1%, and all of us in here are part of their plan to keep us oppressed and to keep some of us employed, and those of us that continue to be allowed to work minimum wage jobs and not have an education. Well, you know, when kids can't read and write, where do they end up? In prison. There's something called the school to prison pipeline. I, as a result of my frustration in the child welfare system, co-founded an agency called the Village Project to provide therapeutic services to the African American population, because there was nothing available for African American children that were coming before the child welfare system to get culturally congruent services. Now, they have done research that has proven that culturally congruent services will provide better outcomes for no matter if you're African American or whatever your cultural identity is, you should be being served from your cultural perspective. And so I would like to just talk a little bit about the needs of our local branch of the NAACP. We're having our first executive committee meeting on Thursday the 26th, and then followed by our general membership meeting at 7 p.m. at the Odermeyer Center. So if all of you in here are interested, I've got some applications, and I don't know, I see a few people in here that are currently members. And I'm going to pass these around, and I really hope that you take one. You'll see the fees here, but we also have a youth contingent in our NAACP. One of our youth council members went through school and now is working on her PhD at Harvard. So African Americans can make a difference when you provide them with culturally congruent services. What we are in need of right now, because a lot of our members are elderly, and we are looking at millennials and young adults to come on board and help out. They don't even have to come to the meetings. If they have an expertise in terms of technology, they are more than welcome to come and help us in many of those ways. But one of the things that we're going to be doing in Monterey County, and we're going to be talking about this next week, is we will be taking a look at the data over the next the past 25 to 30 years in terms of the plight of African Americans in Monterey County. We are going to need everyone that is available, that's a scholar, that knows how to do research, to come on board and help with that. Because what we want to show is what has happened to our folks. We want to have self-determination. We are 50 years post Black Panther Party, where they had a 10-point system. The number one thing was self-determination for people. Housing, education, jobs, food, all those things have gotten worse. We have regressed to a point where many people are so poor in our world now, and we should be progressing. This should not be happening. But we can come together, we can meet, but if we don't come up with an action plan, then we'll just be talking, and we'll come together, and we'll march, and we'll do all those things, which they have their place, absolutely. But we have to come up with a plan. We're putting people in office that aren't representing our needs. And then when we do put really good thinking people in office, we don't ask them to create legislation for us that will make a difference for us. So the NAACP is calling on all of our civil rights brothers and sisters that really want to see social change and social justice right here in Monterey County, because we have our work cut out for us. when you look at the fact that people that have felonies cannot get Section 8 housing, and most of them are poor, and they look like, you know, African Americans and Latinos primarily, they are disenfranchised from even finding a place to live. So there's a new Proposition 47 that's been out for a few years now, and the Village Project is able to assist with applications for people to get their felony reduced to a misdemeanor. What does that do for them? That allows them a pathway to a house or to public assistance. And so there are so many young people in our community that cannot find jobs, and it's really very, very sad. We can go home into our warm, cozy little homes and have, you know, electricity, food, and so on and so forth. But we are forgetting about the poor people. We have a responsibility to ensure that we lift people up and take them along with us. So I'm very encouraged to see the young lady here that's secretary of the college chapter. So thanks to Stephen and some others at CSUMB, we now have a college chapter. So we have an adult branch, a college chapter, and a youth council. But the youth, of course, need sponsorship. So if you want to sponsor a youth, it's $15. And with the Crises magazine, which I find extremely informative, if you want to find out what's going on all over the United States in terms of social issues. And so we also have coming up our Life Membership Banquet, and that is going to be happening on April 1st. And so you're more than welcome to partake in that. But most importantly, I really want to call on all of you that are not members to join your local branch of the NAACP, sponsor a youth so that we can hand it over to the next generation, because in many of the organizations that exist in Monterey County, there's an aging population. And so we have to train up young people to take their place. The thing is that young people have benefited from the struggles of the Medgar Evers, the Fannie Lou Hamers, Harriet Tubman, and all those people that came before us. So we have a responsibility to make sure that young people who are benefiting now, who may not even know what a post-racial society, they may not even know that is not really happening. They think we are living in a post-racial society. You know why? Because we have not taught them their history. Before slavery, there was Africa. And in Africa, scholars sent their people, Europeans sent their people to learn. So the bottom line is that if you really want to make a difference in the social justice issues in Monterey County, there are countless areas that we can work on, but we cannot do it alone. We need everyone that wants to see change to come together, and I'm very happy to see all of you here this evening, and I will continue. I'll be the branch president for 2 years, and my goal, because I look at research and data that tells me what's going on. That is how, as a social worker, that is what my profession is social workers are supposed to change the world, and each of you here are social workers, maybe not by education, but you are, because you're here tonight, and that just tells me that you're concerned about what's going on. And so I don't want to take up a lot of more time. I could talk on and on about some other things that I'd like to share with you, but I'm not going to do that because I looked at the speakers list and there's a lot of speakers on the list. So anyway, feel free to reach out to the NAACP. We're located at on Broadway across from the post office, and we don't have office hours right now because we need volunteers in the office. Again, a lot of our members are elderly and they can't make it up the stairs. So if you would like to come, and you don't have to be a member of the NAACP to volunteer, but we really need your help, and I really thank you for allowing me this platform to share this information with you. Thank you.